Good afternoon, everybody. I am so excited for our guest today. This incredible woman is an activist, a blogger, a speaker, a best-selling author who educates and inspires the public on the burning social and moral issues of the day. She also homeschools her 10 children, and I have 5 and I do it, and I'm like, she's amazing to do it double the children. And we also have to share, she has been featured on major media outlets such as Fox and Friends, the New York Times, The Blaze, Christian Broadcasting Network, as she has become a sensational thought leader on topics of importance to conservatives and families across the globe. Elizabeth Johnston, welcome.
Hi, Reagan. It's great to be with you.
I'm so glad you're here. And I know you are wanted and needed everywhere. You're always busy, but the last few days, especially, tell me
Yeah.
your world is just, it's
Wow. It's been wild. What a historic time to be alive. Can you believe that here we are after 50 years of praying and laboring for this moment? We have finally seen the giant of child sacrifice and abortion begin to topple. It's not over, that we definitely have a road ahead of us, but what an exciting historic hinge moment. I keep waking up pinching myself. I cannot believe I'm living in a post-Roe America.
It is. It's so exciting. And I feel like, and I had an interview earlier, I was talking about with another Christian mother, a pro-life advocate, and I almost feel like I'm living on a roller coaster though, because I'm crying tears of joy, praising Jesus. Thank you, Lord. Still pinching myself, right?
Yeah.
And then my heart hurts
Mm.
because so much of what we're going up against, of course, something so much to celebrate and so joyous and so monumental, we know that makes the enemy furious. And
Absolutely.
and so trying to combat that has been a little tricky. So tell us what, since Roe has been overturned, you are one of the faces, one of the leaders in this movement. First of all, when did your pro-life advocacy really start? How long have you been doing this ministry?
Well, it actually goes back to before I was married. I established the first pro-life ministry on my secular college campus. At Florida State University, I began Students for Life. And the last I heard, Students for Life is actually still going strong at Florida State University. So yeah, I'm 46 years old right now, and have been so blessed to have 10 children. But the journey started in the 90s for me. I remember being so excited the first time I got to vote for president of the United States, because I could not wait to use my vote for what I believed was a pro-life position, and to make a difference through voting. And then I did start Students for Life. And so I remember doing a very controversial pro-life versus pro-choice debate, where we brought in, an attorney and a woman who had had an abortion. And that was really a lightning rod event on my very radical, leftist campus. And so that went amazing. And we had a newsletter that we wrote. So it really started when I was in college. And then when I got married, we would take our children out to the abortion clinics to pray. And we would offer help to the men and women going in. And so all 10 of my children, this is what they knew to be just a part of life, a part of ministry, a part of being the hands and feet of Jesus. They have seen the devastation of sin. They've seen the devastation of sexual immorality and what it leads to as broken men and women go into the clinics and kill their children. Hey, Abby.
I don't. Can you hear us, Abby? I don't know if she can. Looks like she's having some bad reception
Can you
there.
hear me?
Yes. Well, not really. not anymore. So you've been doing this for quite some time, and
Yeah.
I feel like um it's got to be just so many emotions. And so one thing I want to ask you, because we have almost 600,000 people here in our community, and not all of them are pro-life. But
Okay.
so many of our conservative pro-lifers are like, we're with you, we agree with you, we're rejoicing, but they're afraid to speak up. They're afraid of that other side, because I feel like as loud and joyous as you people like you and I and Abby are, that other side is being really, really loud. So what would you say to mothers,
Mm.
to women who are afraid to speak up right now?
Mm.
And are afraid of that ridicule, because we know spiritual warfare is
Yeah.
incredibly real. And so how do you personally deal with it when you're attacked?
Oh, yeah, we've been attacked, relentlessly over the years, as, I decided to get off of the sidelines and get on the front lines. Another pivotal time for me, Reagan, was when David Daleiden did the undercover videos, investigative videos. I believe it was in 2016, exposing that doctors were selling body parts of babies. Do you remember the Center for Bioethical Reform videos? But maybe you do remember. Okay. So I just remember, I would occasionally take my children to the abortion clinic up to that point. And when those videos were released, it was an absolute shift for me. I will never forget being in bed, laying next to my baby who was nursing, and I could feel my nursing baby breathing next to me as I watched these undercover videos where abortion doctors did not know they were being filmed by, a pin camera
Right.
on David or his, partner's lapel. And they were filmed talking about, how to crush the baby without crushing the brain, because you were going to, use the brain and sell it on whatever market they were selling it. And I just sat there and I could, it's just traumatic as especially as a mother.
Yes.
And to even see that this is taking place in our culture. And I just remember being so devastated and thinking, I remember it was winter in Ohio, and winter was a great excuse as a mother not to go out to the abortion clinic, and especially not to take my children out because it was so cold. And I just remember thinking, I don't know how I can keep sleeping in and sitting here in my house and not doing more. I mean, I just saw the Holocaust of old as people sat in their churches and sang songs, and trains full of carts carrying people to their execution, carrying people to um, gas chambers or to concentration camps were ignored because it was too hard to speak up. And they were even told to sing a little louder in their churches to drown out the screams that they could hear from the cars in the trains as they were passing by their churches. And I just did not think that I could keep doing that in good conscience. And so I began to bundle my kids up with little heat warmers in our hands and our feet and go out in the mornings faithfully, weekly, instead of just occasionally a couple times a year.
Wow.
And I formed a team at Planned Parenthood and made sure that we had a gospel witness and believers out there to offer true options for these women. Because as you and Abby know, Planned Parenthood and abortion clinics are not providing these women true options. They want to take the $750 or however much it costs for the abortion and let the woman go on her way. And they'll cover up rape, they'll cover up incest. They don't really care about these women. And
Mm.
so I could no longer sit idly by while this happened. And I made sure that we had volunteers out there 5 days a week, 5 or 6 days a week, actually, because Saturday was the biggest kill day, I think, at the Columbus, Ohio Planned Parenthood. And that's when I really got intensely activated on a weekly basis outside the abortion clinics, was after David Daleiden's videos. And man, the rest is history. Like that's when I began to see that maybe God wanted me to do more than just homeschool my children. Maybe there was something more for me than just carrying a diaper bag around, maybe I had leadership ability and that God wanted to use. And that's when the activist mommy started. I started filming the videos and stuff started going viral. And we just really been very intense in this battle to see the end of abortion since 2016.
Wow. And I know,
Hey, Abby.
like like the video footage you were talking about and what Abby shares, Abby
Mm,
just came out with a 5-minute video last night talking,
yes.
I love Abby's like bits and pieces that she comes out with as
Yeah.
she was there, she saw it, she lived it. And some people still question that. Oh, like these videos, oh, I'm sure that was just, I'm sure the videos are doctored. I'm sure that's not real. Like that, what Abby shares of her journey. Like people just they almost just can't take their conscience there to believe that this is happening. I've had people tell me abortion is peaceful because
Mm,
no good human would do that to. And so I think the misinformation
mm.
is um, is really detrimental because
Yeah, that's why Abby's voice is so important. And I saw that video, that live video you're referring to, where she was really talking about the underbelly of the abortion industry and how exploitative it is of women. And I'm sure she could share more about that, right now, and that would be excellent. But that was powerful. Abby's voice coming out of that underbelly is an extremely powerful voice, and I'm thankful that God is using her to expose the truth of this just powerful money laundering industry that is the most abusive, exploitative industry of our lifetimes. I'm so excited to see it finally coming to an end. We have a lot more work to do in so many liberal states, but just so grateful for this moment.
yes, yes. Abby, are you able to unmute your mic?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, there she is.
I didn't want to be loud while I was driving.
And so, Abby, talk to us because I know, like, Elizabeth, you have been on one interview after another. Talk us through like the last few days since Roe has been overturned. What is this roller coaster like? What's especially for you?
Um, yeah, I mean, I guess, I mean, I guess as a woman who, um, has, I have seen the destruction that Roe has caused, very, very personally, in my life. I mean, I wouldn't have had 2 abortions, if Roe had not been the law of the land. Um, you know, my 15-year-old daughter Grace is sitting beside me right now, and my boss at Planned Parenthood was, all but fighting with me to try to take her life in the womb.
Hmm.
When I worked at Planned Parenthood, I mean, I had to argue with her to shut up about, I'm not going to have an abortion with my daughter.
Hmm.
um and I guess I mean, as somebody who just has seen the destruction, I mean, I wouldn't have had my own 2 abortions. I wouldn't have this burden of having had facilitated 22,000 abortions on my conscience if Roe had not been, the law of the land, for 49 years. So knowing that, and knowing that personally and seeing that, I guess I just feel very, I'm very hopeful about the future, and just feeling like there's going to be a lot of beauty that comes from this. There are going to be so many lives that will be saved, because Roe is gone. And I think for me, the craziest thing for me is just I mean, it makes me laugh because all of these pro-abortion women have been, forever screaming, we want the government out of our bodies and blah, blah, blah. And so the Supreme Court's like, we agree. We agree. The federal government should not have anything to do with this. It's not in the Constitution. And then they're like, no, like, wait a minute. That's not what we meant, right?
Exactly.
And then they're like, we want democracy. We want democracy. We want to be able to decide. So the Supreme Court's like, okay, we agree, right?
Right. Seven men gave us this decision.
Yeah.
In black robes, and they have basically said, okay, that wasn't our job. We should be celebrating. This was a victory for women, right?
Yeah. And so, Supreme Court's like, okay, like here's your democracy, right? And if you don't like that, if you don't like the decision in your state, then you work to fix it, right? You elect legislators, you fix the law, like whatever, right? That's democracy. And then they're like, oh, well, okay, not that kind of democracy, right? Like, it's like the Supreme Court gave them exactly what they wanted, what they've been yelling about, and now they're out rioting in the streets about it. So that's what's like laughable to me, because they're literally so ignorant and so ignorant about the political process, and they don't even know what they want, and then they're like, oh, well, are you gonna help women, or no, you're just pro-birth, you're not gonna help women. We're like, no, dude, we literally have like over 2,500 pregnancy centers that help women, and they're like,
right.
Oh, really? Well, tell us where they are so we can vandalize them and firebomb them.
Right. And then you have these stars giving away, $500,000 so that you can go kill your child, but they won't give the same $500,000 to help women in crisis pregnancies. Like, it is insanity.
It just doesn't make any sense. Like, none of this makes any sense, and then you've got these corporations that are like, oh, well, we'll give you $4,000 to go kill your baby. Oh, okay. Well, I want to have my baby. So will you give me $4,000 to have my baby? No, that's not a good business decision for us.
Exploiting women for labor, for labor in the workplace. If that's not pimping out women, and if that's not a reversal of women's rights, I don't know what is.
It's insane. And I'm just like, and then like I was watching this I was looking on TikTok, and which is just like a cesspool from hell. But anyway, I was like looking on TikTok, and there are these people on TikTok, and there are these doctors on TikTok that were like, you know what, I'm willing to go and basically commit illegal abortions. They're willing to go down with these other doctors in these states where abortion is legal, and they're offering themselves up, as physicians to commit illegal abortions. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm looking at you in your TikTok, and I'm telling you right now, I can tell you're not made for prison. And we actually have, one of the things I want to do is we actually have a woman in our ministry. Her name is Adrienne, and she spent 3 years in a federal prison because of her work with Dr. Kermit Gosnell. She was charged with felony murder because of her work with Kermit Gosnell, because they were delivering live babies, and then they were, snipping the back of their necks and killing these live babies. Okay. She turned state's witness against Dr. Gosnell, and she got a reduced sentence of 3 years. She spent 3 years in prison. One of the things I want to do with her story, she's now come through our ministry. She's a very powerful voice and redeemed, and just an amazing woman of God. But one of the things I would like to do with her is I would love for her to tell these people what prison is like. I don't think that it's all so theoretical for them.
Mm-hmm.
It's also like, oh no, women's rights, and we're going to do this together, and we're going to go down together, and we're going to do all this. And I'm like, you have no idea. You are willing to risk your freedom. You are willing to risk being away from your child. A lot of people have children. You're willing to risk being away from your children, your family, everything you know. You're willing to lose your license that you have worked so hard for what?
Yeah.
To take the life of an innocent baby? I want somebody to tell them really what prison is, really what they are losing. Because I don't think they really understand.
Yeah, it's all cute until they're in stripes.
Yeah.
It's such a wild time. And I'll tell you, we've had, some comments coming on that people who are not standing with us. And I'd love to see, all three of us are very like-minded on this. But I feel I need to remove myself. You two are more so the experts. When people say this goes back to there needing to be a separation between church and state, what do you say to that? I know what I say. I say this isn't is a God-fearing woman, is a Christian removing that. This is a moral and ethical thing. This is murder. So I don't, you know what I mean? This isn't a religion thing. This is a moral issue. Again, the rights of which that are not found in the Bible or in the Constitution. So do you know what I mean? So many people are looking, because several of the justices are extremely outspoken on their religion. I think they're taking that and running with it. But
this is very simple. If a person's child, 4-year-old child, was being murdered in front of them, okay, and they wanted to be able to protect that child, or they wanted the murderer to be brought to justice, they would not be saying, stop, they would not be saying, there's nothing I can do because this is religious in nature. It's not religious in nature. The right to life is not, political, although thank God we in this nation have laws that protect the right to life. And we have the right to life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness in this nation. And our laws in every state should reflect that. No state should be defending the right to murder another innocent human being ever. And so for those states that are going to continue to walk down that road, like California and, New York, they are going to bear the weight of that judgment against them, that they are going to continue to defend the right for humans and innocent little babies to be murdered. But if you just take this example of abortion and you put it in a real-time example of a parent and their actual outside of the womb child, you will see the double standard in what they are saying, that they understand that every human has the right to defense and the right to life. Right, Abby?
Yeah, and here's the thing. It's just not constitutional.
Yeah.
Roe v. Wade was predicated on a lie. Okay. And we know that now. They used Norma McCorvey basically setting it up to act as if she had an abortion, but she never had an abortion.
Nope. And
they essentially lied. I mean, Roe, if you look at the history of Roe, the whole thing was predicated on a lie. The guy, Dr. Bernard Nathanson, all the statistics they used, he came out and admitted all the statistics were false. The Biden solicitors in the Dobbs case, the Biden solicitors had the opportunity to effectively defend the constitutionality of Roe v. Wade. Okay, they had the opportunity, and if I'm honest with you, I didn't even think the Mississippi solicitor did a superb bang up job. Okay, of showing how abortion is unconstitutional. Okay. But the Biden solicitors did so bad. They did such a bad job at showing that abortion is constitutional that the justices really didn't have any other choice. I really don't know if Brett Kavanaugh is pro-life, honestly. I'm not really sure on where he stands concerning abortion. I'm not really sure if Gorsuch is pro-life. I'm pretty confident Amy Coney Barrett is. We know Justice Clarence Thomas is. I don't think that our Chief Justice is pro-life. I'm not really sure where some of them are on the state of abortion, but I do know that these justices that have been appointed are constitutionalists. I do know that. And the Biden solicitors did such a bad job, and I'm going to tell you why they lost their argument. Okay. Roe v. Wade was decided because the justices decided that abortion was going to be constitutional based on a right to privacy. Okay. And when the Biden solicitors were making the Dobbs argument, that was the argument that they should have been making. They should have been saying, well, we need to continue this based on a right to privacy. They did not do that. Okay. They made a completely different argument. They started saying during the Dobbs argument, anybody can go back and listen to this. They started saying that abortion needed to remain constitutional based on a right to liberty and a right to freedom. But that's not why abortion was made constitutional. It was made based on a right to privacy. So they made a completely different argument, which in that moment, when they started making that argument, I said to the person I was sitting with, they just lost their case. Roe will be overturned. They just lost their case because they created an entirely different argument. And so in that moment, Justice Clarence Thomas asked this Biden solicitors, what argument are you making to keep abortion constitutional? Are you making an argument for the right to privacy, the right to liberty, or the right to freedom? And the Biden solicitors said to him, we are making an argument for all three. That is why the justices had no choice but to overturn Roe, because the Biden solicitors did not make their argument. That was why. It has nothing to do with their personal beliefs on abortion. The Biden solicitors simply didn't make their argument. And if you don't make your argument to the Supreme Court, you will not win. And the Mississippi solicitor did a good enough job of making his argument that abortion is not constitutional. And that's why they came to the opinion that they did. I mean, period. And abortion is a special circumstance because there is no other situation in our country where it is acceptable or legal to take the life of an innocent human being, except in the case of abortion. So when they start talking about, they're going to try to ban contraception. Oh, they're going to try to ban this and that. None of those arguments make sense. Okay. Because abortion is a very special circumstance. Okay. It's a they're talking now about, they're going to try to go back and ban interracial marriage. I mean, that's what they're saying now. Interracial marriage is not killing anyone. No. Okay. Abortion is. And that's why it is such a special circumstance. And that's why we have to look at abortion through a very special lens when we are legislating abortion.
I wish you had a little mic just to drop, Abby. I feel like no, I love it. And I think we could do like a 2-hour special, especially with both of you, of just like debunking and just going over all of these things. And maybe we'll set that up sometime.
I mean,
But I know,
it's just like Elizabeth said, this really doesn't have anything to do with religion. You know, all these people are like, oh, separate religion. It doesn't have anything to do with religion. This is about the law. This is about the Constitution. This doesn't have anything to do with religion. I mean, yeah, for a lot of us, abortion
Right.
is, you know,
Yes.
against our religion. It doesn't have anything to do with religion.
Mhm.
They didn't, you know, Roe wasn't decided because of religion, and it wasn't overturned because of religion.
Right.
So, you know,
100%.
the fact that people are saying that doesn't even make any sense. And by
Yes.
the way, if anybody unfollows this page because of this conversation or because of our beliefs, we don't care. So, you know, feel free to unfollow, because
Abby, we've lost a few thousand in the last like 48 hours.
Yeah, and that's great. I mean, that's great because we are uncompromising when it comes to
Absolutely.
our faith, our beliefs, the fact that we are pro-life, the fact that we are pro-traditional marriage. You know, and people are like, oh, but Abby, you know, this may lead to, you know, overturning gay marriage. And I'm like, fantastic. I mean, that would be great, in my opinion. So, I mean, you know, all of this, but the thing that I think is the worst right now is all of the fear mongering that is going on. And even OB-GYNs participating in this ridiculous fear mongering when it comes to ectopic pregnancies or miscarriage or whatever. I think that's really the worst thing that's happening right now. And Christian women are getting sort of like sucked into it because they don't know how to respond.
Right. So education is very important. And what we're doing every day online is so important.
Yes. And that's why, and I think Abby said it best. And I know, Elizabeth, this is in your bones. This is how Abby and I are built. You know, we're standing on the side of Jesus, and we're trying to cement our feet and not move. And I know I've said many times over the last several days, I'm willing to die on this hill. And again, it's, you know, it upsets a lot of people, but I think the best thing we can do is keep sharing truth, keep sharing truth. And that's all we can do. And, yes, so that's our mission. And you know, and I know Elizabeth has to go. She's we just have her for a short time. But Elizabeth, before you leave, will you share with us? I was so excited to see this the other day. I know so many of our parents would love this. Your book, Little Lives Matter. Tell us what your publisher is doing. I love this.
Yeah, I am so thrilled that my publisher is giving away 10,000 free copies of Little Lives Matter. This is a beautifully illustrated children's book that advocates for the sanctity of human life, and the sweetest story about a little baby who is missing his front paw, a little baby bear. And the villain in the book is called Culture the Vulture, if you see him there. And it's just such a beautiful story that advocates for the sanctity of human life at the beginning of life, for those who are disabled, and at the end of life. And they are giving away 10,000 free copies. So go to bravebooks.com and find Little Lives Matter, and you will get a free copy until they hit the 10,000 point.
That's awesome.
Wonderful. And I just linked that. You said bravebooks.com.
Yep.
Perfect.
Well, Brave Books is awesome. They've got so many great books, and they're awesome.
Yeah, and if you subscribe to their monthly subscription, you get a new book to your mailbox every month from, you know, a different influencer or maybe politician, conservative, on a different topic. So they cover CRT, they cover freedom of speech. Every month is a different topic, and mine was the sanctity of human life. So proud of this project and love the company. And they are taking a major financial, you know, hit, if you will, by giving away 10,000 free copies, but they are truly pro-life and want to see parents get this in their living rooms. And this is something, if you've already got it, actually, go ahead and get the free copy and donate it to your crisis pregnancy center. Donate it to your children's church, or maybe, you know, a Sunday school teacher, or maybe your child's Christian school. We would love to see this book all over the nation in all those different types of spaces.
Yes, I love that. I love that. This is what we need more of. Well, Elizabeth, I thank you so much for coming on. Abby and I are huge fans of your work and your ministry and your presence and your voice. And so thank you for being here with us, and thank you for all that you do. And I'm also going to link the best place for people, because people are such big fans of you, the best place for them to follow you, of course, on your social media, but to contact you, your website.
Yeah, elizabethjohnston.org. You'll
Okay.
find everything there.
Perfect. And we'll put that below as well.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. It was so fun to talk with you. God bless you. Keep soldiering.